of Pennsylvania, SDPA. SDPA organizes and mobilizes secular Democrats to defend the separation of church and state, to promote religious freedom, and to empower non-religious people to speak out for equality and social justice alongside people of faith. He is a political activist, campaign manager, consultant, and podcaster. In 2022, he was a candidate for Pennsylvania State Representative in the 166th House District, challenging an entrenched Democratic incumbent. Through his work with the SDPA and as a former host and producer of the Unreasonable podcast, he has become a leading voice in the national movement to defend the separation of church and state and to protect religious freedom in the United States. Our speaker is an atheist Jewish American and a lifelong Unitarian Universalist who has been a strong advocate opposing Israel's U.S.-funded war in Gaza. He also happens to be an acclaimed violinist, composer, conductor, concert producer, and Celtic and klezmer fiddler. Please give a warm welcome to David Brown.
Wow.
Well, I wasn't certain that my entire bio was going to be read. I'm very grateful for that generous introduction. I'd just like to take one moment to once again, to acknowledge Terry and Robin, who I have watched for years and years doing the right thing, even when it's not the popular thing, even when it's sometimes a dangerous thing. We need more people just like them in this country. So, I wish I could tell you I was delighted to be here today. Not that the company isn't great, but I, as many of you I suspect, worked very hard to elect Senator Fetterman. Right? How many of you worked to elect this guy? My caucus worked to elect this guy. I was thinking a lot about what would be a meaningful message from the perspective of the secular humanist community. And it occurs to me that one of our chief ambition as a caucus is to defend the constitutionally mandated separation of church and state. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or preventing the free exercise thereof. Right? The religion clauses. Keep that in your back pocket when you debate constitutional religion and the right. So, if we are serious about defending the First Amendment, about defending the separation of church and state, then we must oppose the genocide. Why? Because this is white Christian nationalism manifest.
That's right.
It's almost ridiculous that I need to say this, and I know that I'm not alone in this crowd in saying so, but I'm Jewish. I'm just a win condition for the right and the center-right of the Democratic Party. Jews in Israel are a tool to achieve the rapture. This is an inherently white Christian nationalist endeavor. And so, it is important that we, as a caucus, by the way, I don't speak necessarily as a representative of our caucus, but as a representative of secular humanists, although I suspect the grand majority of us, being a very progressive group, stand exactly where we all stand on the issue. And in fact, we are a caucus of about 1,700 people now across Pennsylvania. We grew from 7 to 1,700 in about 3 years. And all we did, by the way, to accomplish this was to just keep going, to keep showing up, to keep participating. In 2022, some of you know what happened with the Pennsylvania House. We flipped it by the same one seat that we still hold. But this was an important time. The other side, Republicans, were promising an abortion ban via constitutional amendment, which you could accomplish without the intervention of the governor. We, as a caucus, supported a candidate in particular who we could help, Melissa Serrato in Pennsylvania's 151st. Again, like 7 to 10 of us, maybe, making phone calls, canvassing every single day. She won her seat by 63 votes, flipping the House by that one seat. So I got a call from the AP a couple of weeks later to ask, well, how did you make this happen? What did you do? And I made some stupid comment, I think. Well, I'm not saying the secular Democrats of Pennsylvania flipped the Pennsylvania House, but I'm not saying we didn't. The point being that we showed up, we did the work, and here we are today. So, this idea that supporting genocide is a white Christian nationalist endeavor is very appealing to the secular community. We care because we care about being about the preservation of our values. But for my life, throughout my life, I'm a lifelong atheist. People have asked me, why do you care about life? Why do you care about people? Why would you care? Why would your caucus, a congregation of predominantly non-religious or at least non-theistic individuals, care about genocide in a country thousands of miles away, separated by an ocean? And truth be told, if you are a believer in science, which is not a belief system, but the pursuit of knowledge itself, you have to accept that life is incomprehensible. Life is so unlikely, especially life as we experience it, that sentience and self-awareness and beauty, art, music, my vocation, is so unthinkably unlikely that to snuff out a life, let alone to murder tens of thousands, is as close to what my religious brothers and sisters would call evil as I can define. This country is complicit in evil. Senator Fetterman is complicit in evil. So, what can we do about it? Well, this is a great place to start, and I know this is just one of many, many things that all of you are doing. And I'm so grateful. This is what gives me energy and the modicum of joy I can find in this moment, is to see all of you here standing in the cold and the rain, knowing full well that you're not doing this in a vacuum, but you are activists. So what we're doing as a caucus, and I also have a pretty disheveled and wet piece of paper here, which was intended to be a sign-up form, but has a handy QR code that you can scan. This is a sign-up form for the Secular Democrats of Pennsylvania. I just noticed my friend Jason here in the front, who is a member of our caucus, and looking right past you. It's good to see you. I'm not sure we've ever actually connected in person. It's a joy to meet you. We'd love for all of you to sign up just to get our emails, to participate in our meetings, not because we are a caucus that aspires to tread on the feet of other organizers, but because, in fact, we aspire to connect everyone. We are not trying to reinvent anything. There are so many groups doing good work out there. We are trying to be the connectors. Join us so that you can advocate for your project and we can get involved. In the wake of the 2024 election, we decided we were going to profoundly reimagine the way that we organize, because we are the Secular Democrats of Pennsylvania, but I think most of us are just as cynical about the Democratic Party, especially on this issue, as anyone. So we have autonomy. We are not an official subsidiary of the Pennsylvania Democratic Party. We are partners. We have been working to elect Democratic candidates in pursuit of church-state separation, vetting candidates who support the First Amendment. But the traditional model clearly is not working right now. So we decided we were going to diversify, to build a coalition to, look, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. I'm a grassroots organizer, I'm a political organizer, so I'm running a field team right now that is involved directly in electoral politics, but we are also now becoming involved in accountability, holding our legislators, our congresspeople, our senators accountable for their terrible decisions, supporting them when they make great decisions, when they listen to us, making sure they listen to us, and if they won't, being such a profound thorn in their sides that their jobs are no longer even tolerable.
That's great.
That's our aspiration, at least. We are trying to build media campaigns that rely on earned media and not traditional electioneering. We are also, and this is very important, we are trying to provide rapid response to people who are hurt the most right now by the terrible things that are happening every day. This is a long game for which I'm advocating, for which we advocate, for which we all need to be advocating. But in the short term, people are suffering. And ultimately, progressive ideology is about mitigating suffering. That's why we're all here. This is why we, most of us who have never been and will never be to Palestine, care enough to show up in the cold, in the rain, putting yourselves in some degree of danger in a world where we now know that any of us could be shipped off to a death camp in Venezuela. You all are brave. You all are doing the most important work a person can do right now. I commend you. I'm grateful for you. I speak to you again on behalf of the secular community to say that Gaza is our issue. Genocide is our issue. Secular humanists stand with Palestine. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Terry and Robert.